Hello everyone, it's me, Madam Pamita, and I am doing a live because we're doing another Meet My Familiars interview. And this time we're going to be interviewing my dear friend, wonderful, and he is an amazing magical practitioner as well, Onareo, and I'm so excited for him to join us. The reason I'm doing these live interviews is because I have a book coming out in January called The Witch's Guide to Animal Familiars, which is about making magic with the animals around you. This can be the animals that are your pets or the wild animals around you, farm animals, whatever animals you come in contact with, you can have magical relationships with. And this book is teaching you how to have those magical relationships. So we have a special thing going on right now that if you pre-order the book, which is so helpful to authors, go to animalfamiliars.com and let us know that you pre-ordered it. It also gives you some links so that you can pre-order it. And when you pre-order it, I will give you a $40 workshop. We have our full moon workshop in January is going to be an introduction to working with animal familiars, and everybody else is going to pay $40 for that class, or $30 if they're a subscriber. You will get it for free because you pre-ordered the book. So just go to animalfamiliars.com and you can get that free bonus. And we're going to be handing out some other bonuses. If you get in early and you get this bonus, you will get all the following bonuses as well. We're going to have a book release party where we're going to do giveaways. We're going to have a whole bunch of other fun stuff. So the earlier you pre-order, the better. So I'm going to bring on Onareo right now, and we are going to talk about his gorgeous, oh, wait a minute. Why is it not letting me add you? Did you make a request? Probably. Let's see. Did you make a request to join? Onareo, I see you in there. Yes, so see if you can make a request to join my live. For some reason, it's not letting me add you. It knows you're a troublemaker. Is that it? Yeah, it's like letting me add you as a moderator. Let me see if I can get it here. Oh, there you are. Okay. Is going to be coming on and talking to you about his amazing familiars who I have met personally, and they're adorable. There he is. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
That's so
It's so great.
weird. I feel like Mercury. Mercury. That was a filter. I don't even know what this is. I'm sorry.
That's Mercury retrograde for you right there.
I feel like Mercury. I was about to say that. I feel like Mercury retrograde is starting to troll me because I've had some communication issues recently, and I'm like, whatever, you know.
Maminka's musing says it knows you're a troublemaker.
That was so funny though, because I was looking for a filter, and then I was scrolling for the filters, whatever.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is a super informal interview because Onareo is one of my besties who we worked together at the Parlor of Wonders. Now he moved away from LA, and so now
Now she misses me.
I totally miss you. Listen, every day I miss you. Believe me. And you were so organized and got everything done and kept on top of me about things, which I don't have anybody. You know, it's like the lunatics are running the asylum over here, which is me. I'm thinking of myself. So anyway, Onareo is an amazing reader, amazing magical practitioner, teacher. He has his own interview shows that he does. Get booked? No, you're booked.
We're booked.
We're booked.
We're booked, and show us your deck.
And show us your deck, which is a hilarious name.
Which is kind of like what that filter was, but a different. That was so funny.
Anyway, he is honestly, I say this with all sincerity, that you are like one of the most knowledgeable people I have had the pleasure of being able to spend time with, and most knowledgeable people about many things, but deeply, deeply knowledgeable about magic. And, you know, if something would come up and I'd be like, I only have a smattering of knowledge about this, Onareo would be like, well, blah, 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 and tell me all about it. It's like amazing.
Drink a five. Drink a five.
Drink a five, right? So we were, when we were working together, side by side together, we'd always talk about magic, and we'd talk about, different systems of magic. And we just always you always had so much deep, deep book knowledge and an amazing memory where you could recall. This is what trips me out. Like, you could recall, oh yeah, 20 years ago, I read this book, and I think it's in this book, and we
I
find
know.
it, which is amazing. Oh my God, your memory.
Thank
But
you.
anyway, that is not why we're here. This is your intro. I didn't read your bio. I don't even know if you ever sent me
I
a bio, but
I did, but
oh,
it's okay. I
okay.
mean, you said,
Is there
it,
anything else that you
it
want
was
to
very,
add to
it
that
was
bio?
very, no, it was very, I mean, it was very short, and the one I use for whenever I write something or
Yeah.
someone's interviewing me. So, but you said it, I'm a reader, medium, magic worker, witch, or
Yeah.
whatever you want to call me.
Yeah.
And I've been studying magic and witchcraft and spiritualism since I was like in my teens. So my first tarot deck when I was 13. So, I've been
So for
around.
5 years, you've been
Yeah,
doing.
I've been around. I've been around the block for a couple of times.
Angel Academy 444 is confirming what I said. Onareo is really
Oh, that's
knowledgeable.
Marilyn. That's Marilyn. Yeah.
Marilyn, and has helped me enhance my magic. He is truly a magic encyclopedia. Yeah, he is 100% that, but also an amazing worker. Like, we would sit down and come up with spells together, and you always had amazing, inventive, creative ideas. So
Thank you.
this meeting is not about a bio about you, but where can they
Mhm.
find you online if they want to find you
Um,
and find out about all that you
the
offer?
easiest, the easiest is through DMs here on Instagram because I'm always on Instagram. But I do have a website and an email. The website is uh, oh my God, is it
Readings by
Vision?
Onareo?
No, I think
Visions
it's
by Vision.
visionsbyonario.com.
Yeah.
And because Onareo was taken, I don't know by who. But and then my email is chrisonario@gmail.com. So
Yeah. So people can find you, and probably the best is to reach out to you here. So
thank
the
you.
reason we're getting together is to talk about familiars, past and present, to talk about making magic with animals, and your experience of making magic with animals. This is what I am fascinated, why I did this whole series, and this is a whole series of interviews that I'm doing. The reason I'm doing this is because everyone that I told that I was doing this book, as I was working on this book, oh, Luca, my baby, my big boy. Everyone I told that was doing this, they all had, and there's Aurora. Oh my gosh, my little girl.
I had to give
Um,
them treats so they would come by me so I could show them so people don't think I'm making them up.
your imaginary pets.
Yeah.
So when I talk to people about, making magic with animals, everybody has great stories to tell. And I go like, oh my God, you guys, you need to hear these stories that I'm hearing one to one, that I'm talking to my amazing magical leaders in the community, which you're one of them. Um, so, so tell me a little bit about animal familiars that you have had, that you have now. We got to meet them. That was Luca and Aurora. Just
I
tell
think
me a
you're
little bit
probably
about them.
you besides my family, you're probably the only person that has met them in like our IRL,
Yeah.
which is great. I think so as far as familiar, like I've always been drawn to cats, and not necessarily from when I was younger from a witchcraft thing, like it was not cats because it was witchcraft related or whatever, but cats as an animal, they're so interesting, and so I felt very identified with them because I am very much like if I don't want to do something, I don't do it. I'm not like I don't like to be guilted into doing things. And I also feel like I'm very much like an individual, like a very individualistic. Like I'm independent. I'm not trying to uh I like my alone time, so I'm very much like that, and I've always been like that. And I feel like with cats, you gotta earn their respect also, it's not a thing of like I love dogs and I love all animals, I really do, but with dogs, they're like kind of like a little bit masochist, they're like they'll come to even if you like whatever, they'll come to you, right? But cats is more like you have to develop really a relationship and you have to work hard at it. And I remember when I was younger, I would I like a little cat got in the garage and I would hear him like meowing, right? But I would not, like he would hide whenever I would go into the garage. So I would sit down every time I would come from back from school, and I would sit with some food on my hand, and I would put like a little treat, like like Hansel and Gretel, like
A little
breadcrumbs type of thing. Yeah, and I would put a little treat, and then I would sit there, right? And then eventually he came to me and he allowed me to touch him, etc. And he became one of my first pets. So and then I've had more than 13 cats throughout my life, because
Wow.
they were outside cats. Of course, like they would get, some of them would go away, some of them, like, unfortunately, they would get killed or whatever because they were,
Yeah.
that's their life. But Luca is actually my first indoor cat, and the way we got together was because when I moved after, during COVID, when I moved to Puerto Rico, I moved at the end of 2020. I moved back home for a couple of months. The vaccine was not out, so everybody was scared. Nobody knew what was going to happen, etc. And one day, it was in December that I came back, and then the neighbor, my mom's neighbor, said, the next door neighbor said, "Do you want a cat?" Like randomly, And I was like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "Oh, I have a cat that just gave birth in the shed, and the backyard." And I was like, "Oh, let me go see them." But then I was thinking already, I'm like, I don't want a cat. I mean, cats last 20 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Yeah.
want a cat. It's too much responsibility. So I went there, and there was I think four or five of them, and one of them was black, which is Luca, right? And I thought, oh, they're so pretty, but no. But then I was like, he's gonna get killed, Like if I let him, because a lot of people don't know that like black cats are kind of like the least adopted cats because people still hold on to those beliefs that they're bad luck and all that shit, right? So I was like, okay, I'm gonna take this one. And then I was like, my mom's like, oh, you're not bringing this into the house. And I'm like, I'm just gonna have him, here. And then when he grows up, maybe I'll put him outside, but I want to take care of him or whatever. He was literally like maybe a month old, but I thought it was a girl, right? And because I couldn't see his stuff, and
They
and he
hadn't
was
dropped
too,
yet.
yeah, and he was too little. So I got him on St. Lucy's Day, right? And I have a devotion to St. Lucy, and if people don't know who St. Lucy is, she's kind of like associated with, she's the saint of like eyes and vision, but also in the metaphysical world, she's also associated with psychism and clarity, like Saint Clare also with the patron of clairvoyance.
Hmm.
So I have a deep respect for certain saints and what they represent, right? Mystics. And I was going to name him Lucia, which is the Spanish or Italian version
Lucy.
of Lucy,
Yeah.
right? The original name, right? And then when I took him to the vet, they were like, "It's a boy," and I'm like, "God damn it!" Because usually also girl cats are more like are friendlier and are also more loving in a way. They're like more touchy and whatever. But boy cats are even more independent and more like, And then I was like, I don't know what to name him, right? And then I started looking for names, and I'm like, I said, can be Lucia, and I was like, maybe I name him Lucifer, because because people don't know. So Lucifer is related to Diana,
The
like
light
as a solar,
bringer.
yeah, a
Yes.
solar god, not really the devil, right? Which I don't really, it didn't really matter if it was the devil or not to me, right? But then I was like, I didn't want to name him Lucas or whatever, so I started looking for names, and I was like, oh, what if I name him Luca? So that's how he became Luca, and which was also I thought it was interesting or funny that he was black, and I was naming him Light, basically,
Yeah.
So that's how he came into my life, and I love black cats, obviously. I should mention that I've always had a devotion to Bast or Bastet, the Egyptian goddess of cats and joy, and the moon goddess also, and protection, and there's many associations. Also, like I think drinking and enjoying life, and so I think there's a very interesting relationship with my family and cats. So I'm thinking like maybe in another life we were, we had some sort of, we were servants of that goddess. We were devotees or priests or whatever. Because they always gravitate toward more than any other animal. We have turtles, we have dogs, and but cats have always been like a constant thing.
Yeah.
Um,
That brings up something very
yeah,
interesting that
but
I talk
I
about
feel
in
like
the
I've been
book.
talking a lot.
No,
Sorry.
no, no. You have a great, interesting story. But you know what you're talking about? There's something I kind of break down different magical animal relationships. And I talk, so this book isn't just about the familiar relationship, which I define an animal familiar as an animal who willingly works with you on your magic. We're going to talk about that in a second. But there's also different relationships that you can have that are spiritual
Hmm.
relationships and are magical relationships. And one of them I call kin animals. Kin animals being collectively, you have a group of people who are have a connection to a certain animal. So like you might be a family who are horse people and you all love horses and you all ride horses, right? And you have this deep devotion to horses. Or you might, like your family, be a cat family. And it doesn't even mean necessarily like blood family is your kin animal. It can be groups that you gravitate to where like you feel a kinship yourself with other humans who love and admire cats and choose cats and choose to work with cats. So I
Hmm.
think there's this interesting thing that you sort of on the sideways bring up that I do discuss in the book, which is this collective experience. And we can look back in history, of course, you know where I'm going with this, to people who were villages or tribes who had an animal representation.
Hmm.
So your tribe may have been the badger tribe, or your tribe may have been the wolf tribe, or the owl tribe, or the whatever, meaning that your group, and I'm not speaking tribal in the sense of Native Americans. I'm speaking tribe in prehistory, like
Hmm.
these small
Like
groups that people.
anthropological.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So then you find things like I think of there's the shaman image that we found in Europe that is like a bear person, right? It's
Hmm.
a bear woman. So this goes back to those shamanic practices where the shaman or the priest or the priestess of the group, the world walker of the group, would take on the mantle of the animal that might be the kin animal of the group. So it can be hawk, it can be bear, it can be fish, salmon. I mean, there's all kinds of different tribal animals, group animals, and this exists in all these prehistoric. We have prehistoric evidence of this, and this I find in modern day shows up as like, oh, all my family were a cat family, or yeah, these are my horse friends, or these are my goat friends, or whatever. You have a passion for this animal, and you find other people who also have a passion for that animal.
And,
So it's
and it's
interesting you brought that
interesting
up.
that you say that because especially now during this time, ever since like 3 or 4 years, maybe when I got Luca, everybody like my dad has three cats, my mom has two, and my two cats live in a because my mom's cat don't get along with them. So there's a cat that lives outside because she didn't she came from outside, and we adopted her when she was three. Like I rescued her. Then my mom rescued another one which is missing an eye. Which you've
Odin.
seen you've seen, yeah, oh yeah. You've seen her. Then I have my
Yes.
two cats.
I was
My
with you with that whole drama because we were going back and forth and seeing the cat and consulting with your mom when you were all
my
all
my
doing.
cousin my cousin has three cats also, and then my sister-in-law has three more cats in her house. I'm sorry, two cats in her house. So it like right now everybody in my family, close family, they all have cats. So definitely it's an interesting like we're talking about this because sometimes we forget about those like happy accidents or whatever we might call them or coincidences. and we don't think that there's something else behind this. Like there's this spiritual nature to why they are here, either teaching us a lesson or helping us or protecting us. Because I do, as in Puerto Rico in particular, we do believe that certain animals are very protective, and that animals, some animals will pick up something, to protect you, or in exchange for like you giving them food and taking care of them, some that, and then that they have some spiritual power that they'll willingly offer to you, in as a relationship, not that you're using them,
Yeah, just like you,
I
like a mom protects
Mhm.
her kids, right? Or dad protects his kids. We see animals who, I think animals are much more attuned psychically, and I think they're much more attuned spiritually than we, who are like so dominated by our rational mind. They're so intuitive, they're so psychic, they're so sensing things. And so they're like, hey, you dummy, you don't even know that there's some negative energy here. I'm gonna have to take care of it for you, or whatever, right?
That, yeah, and I think we also don't, we forget some things, that we have to honor those, really, honor that, and like because we live in such a rush with everything, we're like, let me give you some food, or but we forget to kind of like check in, like animals or pets, or they're not an accessory, they are living beings, that they can heal you, they can comfort you, they can prevent you from doing something, and they can call your attention, to something,
Yeah.
and I think, and I have many stories. Like I have a story with Luca, when I was living in LA, where she turned on my gas stove, so, and I had to call the fire department and everything, but I think really when that happened, and I was, holding him, and he scratched me and all that, because he was nervous, obviously, because of all the noise and the beeping of there was no, it was just the gas was on, but there was no
Flame, no
flame,
fire, yeah.
thankfully, uh I took the knobs out after that or whatever, but he was really calling my attention to being more mindful, sometimes I was just be rushing to things, and it's like take a minute and check that everything's fine.
Yeah.
And I usually double check things and whatever, but it was more like, yeah, you have to really pay attention to what's going on here,
So if you
And yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, if you think about like how specifically Luca and Aurora, have you found that they each have their own style of how they lend energy to your magical practice? Are they interested? Are they not interested? What's their flavor? Because I do think it is a kind of, to me, a proof that not every animal is a familiar, because not every animal is interested in lending us their magic. And when they do, they lend different kinds of magic, right? Have you found that
Yeah.
to be true?
So I think like Luca in particular is very interested. He comes around whenever I'm like burning candles and doing uh um a ritual, I would say, whenever I'm doing ritual, he'll come and like he's like supervising, he'll like
Like Mambo
look
Glinda.
at, yeah, yeah, exactly. And he'll go
That
and
was
I,
Chris's name for my cat.
yeah.
Her name's Glinda. Chris called her Mambo Glinda.
Exactly. So, and then Aurora is more into when I'm doing readings. Every time I'm doing a reading, she'll jump on the table, and like, and I have to kind of like put her down, because, and when I'm doing interviews too, which I also think we only think of maybe like our magic as burning candles or doing whatever, that type of work, but also when I'm communicating, that's also it's magic, right? Like when I'm doing my interviews, and when I'm doing, like, she's bringing that support and that comfort, and that and she likes that energy, right, of that communication. So I do feel like she's more of an extrovert in that sense. And Luca talks to me, right? Like, he's very mouthy. So I think
So funny.
that whenever he's like making a lot of noise, I remember there was a time where I was like, I had to take some edibles and stuff, because Luca was making noise every night at like 3 a.m. or whatever. That was before Aurora, and I think it's calling attention to, like, maybe you're not resting well, maybe you're not paying attention to. So I feel like whenever I'm not paying attention to certain parts of my spirituality, like Luca will like be acting up or whatever. But I did do which I'm not going to share the specific ritual, but I did do a ritual when I got him as a dedication and connection. We have a we do have a magical connection, Luca and
So good,
I.
right?
And so I do feel like Aurora is more into the aspect of readings and like communication. So, and I want to mention something because I did talk about Luca, but Aurora was also interesting the way I came up with her name because I was thinking for a month before that I wanted like a sister, like a friend for Luca because he was always alone at home and I would work and I would go to the gym or whatever and I didn't want him to be alone all this time, right? And then my mom calls me and says like, oh, I have a cat, like my other neighbor's daughter, she does rescues, and she had a cat that she rescued, a girl cat, and I'm like, oh, that's gonna be perfect. And so she showed me the picture, and then she's like, oh, her name is Lola, right? And I'm like, I don't like that Lola, I don't like that name, right? Like I'm like that's like very so common, right?
Yeah.
And then
All the Lolas
I got
in the audience
yeah.
are unfollowing you right now,
No,
but then
no,
I'm
no,
joking.
but I mean it's very common here in Puerto Rico. I
Yeah.
mean, like Dolores, it's like Lola,
Yeah.
like that's and like my great grandmother was a lot of people named Dolores and Lola. It's like
Yeah.
it's Spanish. It's very Spanish. So I said I want to name her something different, right? And I was like Agatha. I was like, like Endora. Like I was thinking of all these witchy names. I really was thinking of all these witchy names.
Should have named
And
her Endora.
but then I thought I'm gonna call her Aurora, right? Because Luca, like Aurora means dawn,
Yeah.
like the rising of the sun, right? Like early morning, whatever. And then and then or light, right? And then Luca is already light, right? So I was like, this is gonna be an interesting play of names. But then my mom says you can name her Aurora because that's the neighbor's mom's deceased mom's name. Like the girl that
So?
well, because she was like she's friends with the neighbors, so she didn't want to be like, oh, I don't want it to be disrespectful to her name. But then she stopped herself and she's like, oh wait, but Lola was her nickname. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So
wow.
where I'm going with this is like, well, first of all, I think that's a message for the neighbor to kind of like say hello and
Yes.
there's probably a reason why she's rescuing these cats, and maybe one of them is like her grandmother is with her, and she likes cats, and she's connected. There's like something
Yeah.
spirit connected. But I also feel like Aurora brought that with her too, that she is connected to the spirit world as well. So
Amazing.
yeah, and then they fight, they love each other, they groom each other. So and they keep each other company, and that was my other story with so I feel like she's more interested in that type of work, like divination work, and then Luke is more like into the magic, and he'll go and knock stuff out and whatever. The other day I was like, I found my pack of tarot cards because they're in a knitted
Yeah.
they're in a knitted bag, and then the cards were all on the floor, and I'm like, who the fuck did
Oh my
who was doing a reading with my cards? But I always laugh because they're just cats. They'll do whatever the fuck they want, and you won't like. There's nothing that you can do to stop it.
Yeah. I think it's so funny. I love that independence of cats myself because I love dogs and I love other people's dogs
Hmm.
because I don't have to
Same.
share all the emotional like care of a dog. I think dogs need to have more a lot of attention and interaction like a child.
Hmm.
And I
Yeah.
think, oh, if you're a person like me who has lots going on in your life, you can feel super
Yeah.
guilty about not taking care of your dog or spending time with your dog, when they need that from you. And cats, they need some, but every cat's sort of different, but they kind of are good on their own too. And that also, so for me, is something that I think in my magical practice, like I don't need like a cult, like
Hmm.
a cult. I want to teach people like and send them on their way with their magic, like not send them on their way, like go away, but like I want to empower people with my teaching, right? And that's sort of my style. I empower you so that you don't need a leader, right? And so I think
Yeah.
cats sort of embody that, but
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to
I
say,
wanted
so
to say, yeah.
we're kind of at our end of our time, but I wanted to ask if you had any tips, tricks, recommendations for people who are either wanting to attract a familiar in their life, or they want to work more magically with their animals. What would what's like a hot witch tip that you would give people who want to develop this familiar magical energy exchange
Well,
with an animal in their life?
well, first I would say get your book in in January when it comes out. Um, and because I was there for at least the beginning of the workings of the book, and through that process, and I know how much work you put into it, and I know how much like your dedication in writing and in
I thank you
researching
in the
and your
acknowledgments
yeah,
too.
no, I mean your thank you. And but I know how, I really know, like whenever I say this it's because I experience it. I know that whatever you're talking in your book or any of your books, you really sat down and researched the shit out of it
Yeah.
and also have experience with it, you know. But I would say like listen to your it sounds like what was the song? Listen to your heart, right? Like listen to your heart, your intuition, and like for example with oh, the book is called The Witch's Magical,
Which
is
is
that it? Witch's
Guide to Animal Familiars. And I'll talk
Animal.
about it in just a second when we're wrapping up, how you
Yeah.
can pre-order it and get a $40 workshop. So, okay, hang on there.
There,
Don't go away.
yeah. So that's my mediumship mentor right there who asked that question.
Ah,
She's amazing. She's an amazing reader, also amazing medium. So the other thing is really listen to, like when I wanted to get Aurora, I put it out there, right? And I think you would agree with this thing. It's like if you really want a familiar, if you really want to it's again, it's not an accessory. Write down maybe a letter out to your family. Maybe you have something similar to this on your book. Write down a letter to your familiar out there that will receive that message that I'm ready to welcome you. Or if you have a spiritual practice, a god, goddess, a saint, or whatever. Like for example, Saint Martin de Porres. And Martin de Porres is associated with animals. Saint Francis of Assisi is associated with animals, so you don't have to be like any particular type of witch to work with animals, right? And really welcome that energy in, right? And I think also think about what you're lacking in your life, right? As far as like qualities, as far as like energies, right? If you're lacking courage, right? Like think about what type of animal embodies that you can get. No, you're not gonna get a lion, right? Or whatever, right? So what type of animal embodies that, right? And maybe have a picture of the type of animal that you want to bring into your life, and the perfect one will appear. It might take some time,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Just like a relationship, just like a partner, but you really want to welcome and remember that that's a relationship that you're going to build,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
after you welcome it, make sure you're able to to keep to
Afford to
keep
care
it.
for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't be like one of those people that get rid of their animals unless you have a situation, right? That
Well, I
but
also say in the book, I talk about working with wild animals. So if you have concerns about having a pet, maybe you don't aren't allowed to have a pet where you live, or it isn't practical or economical for you. You can do amazing work with wild animals and develop relationship. It's a different relationship and
hmm
it's and I go into the book very respectfully into that relationship. Like I'm not suggesting you go out and feed bears
hmm
or feed
you
wild
shouldn't,
animals
yeah.
that then make them put them in danger, if they get
hmm
too accustomed to people. But like, making eye contact for a split second with a fox can be a powerful energy exchange. Working with the hawks that are flying above you can be a powerful energy exchange. So it doesn't have to be a pet. It can be a pet, and most people who really, I think, have this affinity will get
hmm
pets. But you're absolutely right. I have over 100 spells in the book, and one of those, one of many. I actually have a few on how to discover who your familiar is. And you're absolutely right. Like, be open and be patient. Just put it out there. And if you work with deities that are animal deities, maybe you have a preference. You want to work with you know, um, you want to work with Hecate because you want a dog and she's associated with dogs, or Diana, or,
Artemis.
Athena,
Yeah.
Artemis, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Artemis, or Athena if you want an owl, or,
Owls. Yeah.
or you work with, Bastet if you want a cat, and so on. So I think there's lots of options in that area, and you're absolutely right. These can be great allies. Your deities can be great allies in finding and bringing in a familiar into your life, a magical familiar.
Can I
Yeah.
say something real quick
Yeah.
also? And I know we're about to go, but as to your point, like for example, we took some shamanic training also, and there are ways we're working with power animals in shamanism as well. So if that's kind of like your jam and you want to do
Yeah.
that, you can also do that. And there are articles, or like let's say you find a bone, right? And or you find like something, right? And maybe an antique shop, and maybe you're a vegetarian like me, and you don't want to support like killing animals or whatever, but then you find something that's antique and you want to work with that animal spirit. You can also ask, and you can also develop a relationship with an animal that's no longer
Yeah.
alive also, because animals
Yeah.
have spirit too. So I think that there's still like a lot of things that you can do, and I know you touch on all of that in
In
your
the
book
book.
too. So
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's remind everybody, first of all, the reason we're having these Meet My Familiar interviews is because I have my book coming out in January. It's called The Witch's Guide to Animal Familiars. It has spells, recipes, and rituals for connecting, over 100 different ones. We go into every kind of animal, from spiders and bees to fish to birds to wild animals to farm animals. Oh, there's Miss Aurora, Senorita Aurora. Um, so we go into all of that. And there's Luca. Hi, Luca. My big boy. You can't even tell in the video how
he's a fucking
big he is.
panther.
He's as big as a mini panther. He really is a mini panther. He's giant. He's a giant cat, like the Maine Coon cats, that are so big.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you want to pre-order The Witch's Guide to Animal Familiars, it's coming out in January. But if you pre-order, we have some amazing bonuses. Go to animalfamiliars.com, or just go to parlorofwonders.com. You don't have to remember anything. Just go to my website and you'll find the link where you can enter your pre-order information, and you will get a coupon for $40, a free class, a $40 full moon workshop about introduction to animal familiars, working with animal familiars. So you'll get a live class or the recording, plus some other bonuses that are going to be coming. If you get in now, you will get all of the bonuses, this one and the bonuses that are going to follow, including giveaways and some other fun things that we're going to do. And want to remind you that Onareo can be found at visionsbyonareo.com, or right here on Instagram. You can DM him directly and book a reading with him, a session with him, a mediumship session with him. You get free bonus. You'll get either Aurora or Luca
Somewhere there.
helping along with the magic. And anything else you want to share that you've got coming up? When's your book coming out?
Oh my God. Yes. Yes. I'm working on this last chapter.
I always
I
tell him
was
he
gonna
needs to
say,
write a book. He's so knowledgeable.
I was gonna say that you have some great, if people are looking for a familiar, you have some great animal candles, figure candles that people can use in order to work with that energy and kind of like bring that familiar. That
Exactly.
they're
We've got
beautiful beeswax candles that are amazing.
we've
So
got wolves, we've got cats, we've got
owls.
frogs, we've got dogs, we've got owls, we've got, oh my gosh, you name it. I feel like we've got
I think you
so
have a
many
raven.
animals.
Don't you have a
We
raven
did
now?
it limited
Oh,
edition for Halloween, but
oh,
it's gone.
there
It's done now.
you go.
Although I did just donate. We had a sample one that was in a different color, and I made a donation to a friend who was doing some magical work for justice on somebody who killed a heron,
Oh my
and
God.
they got busted, and she wants there to be justice in that case, that person, pays the crime, pays for their crime of
Sacred.
killing.
So
Yeah.
sacred too. Oh my
So
gosh.
anyway, we've got lots of candles, animal candles. We've got lots of we have an animal familiar magic section, I think, now on the shop, with all kinds of animal things as well. But so check that out. Go to animalfamiliars.com or go to parlorofwonders.com. You can find Onareo here. He's amazing. He's such an amazing reader, so knowledgeable. Amazing if you want spell recommendations too. You're so
I'll be
knowledgeable
in
about
your
spell work.
Q&A
So.
tomorrow too,
Oh,
by
great.
the
Oh, that's
way.
right.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention. That's right. You totally forgot. So we're doing Magic for the Resistance at the live Magic Q&A tea party. If you would like to join us and you're part of the resistance of this fascist government that has now been installed into the United States, come join us and we'll talk about magic that you can do to protect yourself, to bring justice to the situation, and curse, hex, and jinx as needed.
Yeah,
Right? I'm
yeah.
good with it. So if you'd like to join us, that's at 5 p.m. tomorrow, 6 Mountain, 7 Central, 8 Eastern,
Not for the faint at
9
heart.
o'clock Puerto Rico time.
Yeah.
But we're going to be talking about that with the Love Witch and Onareo and me. And then I'm going to be gone for 3 weeks because I'm going on vacation. And Onareo and the Love Witch will be continuing those talks and those teachings and answering your questions about magic while I'm gone. So I'm very excited about that. I'm sure everyone's very excited too because it's such a powerful thing to have community. Yeah, exactly. I love it.
It's a gay takeover.
I love it. But this is I think so important that we feel a sense of community. This is not about familiars, obviously, but we feel that sense of community in this time when we're really facing some very draconian, horrible chaos, really, that is telling and negating queer people, women, people of color, immigrants. Everybody is being attacked by these white supremacy fascists, and we want to stop it. So yeah,
we're not going to
be one way.
We're not going to be eating the dogs or eating the cats. We're going to be working with the dogs and working with the cats.
Exactly.
So,
really, it's such a good thing. So if you want to join us, go to spellsquad.com and sign up for that. And then you can get some really great, it's a very private place. It's not public. It's not streamed. It's just in a Zoom room. So you won't have to worry about, your Uncle Charlie seeing that you're doing magic or anything like that, if that's a concern. So I'll see you tomorrow night. I'm so excited. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a great time.
This was fun. You guys will
join. Yes. So, oh my gosh, it's so great to just see you and get together with you. And we chat every couple of weeks and catch up with one another and talk about whatever's going on. But yeah, thank you so much, Onareo. I love you so much. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow night, and I'll see all of you hopefully tomorrow night. Don't forget, go to animalfamiliars.com, pre-order the book, and then you'll sign up and you'll get a free $40 workshop for my full moon workshop for January. It's a great deal. $17 book, and you get a $40 workshop and a great book. And if I say so myself, I think you're going to all love this
art
book
too, right?
Oh my God, gorgeous art throughout the book. And it's a really, you know what I like, a book that hasn't been made. And it's a very practical, hands-on way of you psychically connecting to your animals, energetically connecting them and making magic with them and deepening that relationship with them. So yeah.
I'm super excited. And you're first with Hay House, so.
Yes, my very first book with Hay House. I've got a deck on the way. And then we're going to have another book coming out soon in late 2025. So we got lots of, early 2026. The second book will come out. So we got lots on the horizon. So
much fun.
I better get started writing that one.
I know.
That's what I'm going to do when I'm on vacation.
All right, you guys. So much.
I love you too.
Talk forever, so.
I know. I got to get to work. That's why I'm here at the shop today. I've got to get orders out. It's crazy. All the Hex the Patriarchy spell kits. It's been a little wacky here. So we sold over 150 of them. It's wild.
I'll send you
good though.
I'll send you some coffee.
I know. All right, you guys.
Bye.
Bye,
Love everybody.
Bye.
Bye.